is KC9AAP, and today we are going to assemble an American Morse Equipment Porta Paddle 2 kit. It arrived in the mail. It's something I'm looking forward to for my Porta. I have been using this 3D printed key for my Porta here that you can see here, and it's a really nice key. It works pretty well, but it is a little flimsy. I trip up on it a little bit because it just uses little push buttons inside. And I'm actually surprised it's lasted as long as it has because it is very fragile inside. So looking forward to this. I saw one at the Hamvention in a swap meet and tried to get it, but when I came back to get it, it was already gone. So I was able to find it on AmericanMorse.com, and we have the manual here, so let's get started. First we have the base here. I'm probably not going to use this right now. I did order with the base just in case I did want to use it as my main for a certain time. So we're going to set this aside for now. They do come with mag mount kits and all this other stuff on the site, so you can order that if you want to. Doug makes them, I believe himself, out in California, W6AME. So let's go and see what we need here. We've got our base, we've got our two paddles, and let's open these. Let's open these here. There's the paddles. I've seen multiple versions of this. The one I saw, the paddles were silver. I think that was the older version, so I think the newer one, they all come the same color. So there you go. I did like the gray personally. The two-tone was pretty cool, so let's get that out of the way. This kit does tell you all the things that come in it, and you can kind of see the different parts there. One thing I did forget is the needle nose pliers, so hopefully we don't need those too severely, otherwise I'm going to have to disappear off camera for a bit. I don't think we'll need them. I've got smaller hands. If you had big hands, you probably should use them. Okay, so let's scroll down here to the first step. So the first thing it wants me to do is put the two brass pins, I believe those are these, into the base here. So let's go and do that. The insulator. So those actually look to be either different sizes. There we go. That's in there. Now it wants to me to insert two of the 440 3/16 screws with the lugs. So they look like that. So let's go ahead and find those. We got them here, I believe. So all right. Oops. So pliers would be helpful, maybe. Let's see these little screws here. Yeah, those look good. In here. So keep those out a little bit for now, but he has them bent all the way in for now. It's probably got to slide into a slot, so I'm going to go ahead and close them up in this picture. This one is fighting me a little bit. Let's see if the back pad was spinning on me, so you gotta kind of hold that. Once it's in, there you go. I'm not tighten it too tight yet. All right. Now once the, you can see that's why they're inside. Once we take the base here and start putting this in here, and it looks like it wants the ridge line to be this direction. There's a little line here. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but that's what we're gonna do. There we go. So now it wants the little 3/16 screw to go in. I believe that is actually this right here. I did say I needed a 1/16 Allen wrench, I believe, for that. So let's test that out before I put that in. Yep. So we're just gonna put that in there, and that's probably to lock it in place for now. There we go. Okay, so now it wants me to actually turn it over. Now that we've got it in place, loosen these up. So yeah, we want tighten that a little more. It's a bit more secure in there. Let's get that in. There we go. All right. Oops. Okay. So those appear to be spread hard enough for now. Okay. Now it wants us to turn the base right side up and slide the dowel pins into the bores on the base. So these are the bores here. Let's go ahead and do that. These are your dowel pins, I believe, that it wants me to do. Okay, so we're going to put those in there. And then it wants the sharp edge down. There's actually a rounded edge and a sharp edge on this washer. It's hard to see, but you can kind of tell. As a matter of fact, I may have done that one backwards. Double check that first before I... This one, it's hard to tell. This one is very obvious, so I think we do it this way. There we go. So I really want you to make sure these are clean. They look pretty clean to me, so I'm not worried about it. It looks like if you want, you can actually take some yeah, it looks like you can just use some paper or something like that. Kind of get the surface off of them. One sandpaper. I could always do that too, but these actually look pretty clean. So I'm not going to do it right now, but I might take them back out and do that later. Okay. Now it wants me to get the springs. This is the part where it's going to get interesting. I think we have to start doing the paddles. So we've got our two paddles, and we are going to take, looks like you got one longer one for this side and two shorter ones for this side. We're going to, looks like, feed these into each other. Yeah, they're slightly different, but let's see what happens here. Being very careful, I don't want to scratch this. There we go. Now this shows a screw going into one side here. Let's look at that real quick. Let's see if we've got a good picture of this, because this looks a little weird. Left lever gets screw in the corresponding hole. Screw that one in until it bottoms. Locate the white Delrin 440 nut. Thread the nut onto the long 440 adjustment. Okay, so there's a nut. Okay, I think this is the nut it's talking about. A weird, but okay. So we're going to put this. Now this shows a picture of 3 of those springs. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we're going to put the small spring on this first. Thread that in. That's where I may need to put a yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna get some needle nose, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So it says to basically, oops, lost our spot there, 1 second, there we go. It says to basically hold that not there and thread it on. It is designed for a tight fit. I'll do that there. And that will go on like that. Okay. Hold the Delrin nut with fingers and turn the strum to until there's about 1/8 inch or so of the screw exposed. That looks about right. Okay, ready for the final assembly. Okay, so we should be able to slide each lever over its dowel pins. Let's go and do that. Lost our spring there. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay. Those are on. The spring 6. Okay, so the spring's in. It basically says install it now. I installed it already, so we're good. Next, fit the pin retainer over the dowel pins. Make sure you have the retainer perpendicular to the base and press it with the pencil with your finger. Snug fit. So this is how that looks there. We're going to take, let me get this out of the way. There we go. Now it wants me to thread those pan screws in, so let's turn it over here. They have these big pan screws. Now one of them is a ground connection. So this is our ground, so I'm going to go ahead, I think This is your ground connection, so I think we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. Okay. Let's tighten those real quick. All right, well, for the most part we are done. I do have to figure out a few things. We have to tighten those adjustments, and I believe these are, where are these going? Had me seeing those. I'm not seeing, I think that's the old way. I think they switched it to these thumb screws. Could be, unless I'm mistaken there. Or that it could be for attaching the base. I'm not sure. It had me tighten. Let's go look. Man, I am not seeing those things. All right, let's go ahead and tighten this puppy. Let's see, does that look right? That might be a little too tight. Let's. That one is a little too snug. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. Maybe try that out. Let's do that. Let's see. Alright, that side's a little loose. I'm gonna mess with that and get this all adjusted, but there it goes. We just need to tweak it a little bit. Kind of move it back and forth. Get it nice and loose. I don't think I'm missing anything here. I think next up is just putting the leads on over the cables and probably do some solder. So pretty easy. I'll go do that and test it out here. So I do have a cable for it right here. Do a little test at least. If I do a more permanent attachment on these. This did come with a little plastic clip, but it looks like it had a lead end and it was designed to snap, but this didn't come assembled right, so that's okay. Not a big deal. We can do something about that here in a little bit. I do want to know where those go as well. There's your ground. Let's see if I have enough. Again, this is not perfect. Just doing this to test it for now, but I probably will go ahead and solder these to these little plates, these leads. They don't need much. I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll be good from there. I would like to figure out if I'm doing something wrong on this lead here. It just seems, what's the word? It seems a little loose or tight. I don't know. Let me loosen this up a little bit and see if I can figure out what's going on there. Cool. Okay, so those are off. That thing does not want to come off. It is like a snap in. There it goes. Let's increase the tension on that spring. Feels much better. There we go. You can just have that on too tight. That's much better. Yep. Let's tighten that back down, and I think we can call that good. I'm gonna go solder this on, and I will be right back. All right, so we're back here. I went ahead and soldered this. Actually, I had some old solder laying around, so I went ahead and used it because I didn't really care too much about that. You can kind of see that there. I was able to attach those wires onto it. It does call for a plastic clamp that screws on there to hold the wire as a tension relief. I'm gonna have to order a new one. This one came shipped broken, but this should work. We can go ahead and test it out at least while we're here. I could put this on the base as well. I might order that. He has a mag base. I'm gonna order to kind of finish that out for my Porta. Otherwise, I think it is perfectly usable for Porta here. So let's find out. Let's unplug our key here. And I've got a dummy load in. I don't have the break-in on, but so it is hooked up. Actually, it's hooked up the wrong way I wanted to. This is hooked up properly. I think the polarity on the wires on my other one is backwards, so which is fine.